BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi.
Good morning, everybody. Let's have a look. So yesterday we were talking about the bounce being due on Bitcoin, and if it were to come down to anywhere, it would come down to this box or the bottom of the formation. So here we go. We were sitting at the bottom of the formation. In fact, let's have a little look at that wick so far. I mean, you could call it the box, you could call it the bottom of the trend line. It's basically there, isn't it, really? So it's at this exact moment where we should be looking for a bounce. And that bounce, like I said on the video yesterday, or it might have been the day before, but in one of those videos, if we get this, there is a chance that we actually bounce not just to the center of the Bollinger Band, which is 12%, but also to the top of the formation, which is still in line with the consolidation, obviously. Still a consolidation formation, but we will be looking for a decent move up, should we say, or a decent bounce. Dead cat bounce, reversal, you can call it whatever you want. I try to now stop from framing it in any kind of some particular language which excites everybody, and just say this is a setup and this is the setup that we were referring to, and this is the expectation of this setup. Whether you want to call it reversal, whether you want to call it dead cat bounce, whether you want to call it an incoming death cross retest. There is a death cross, obviously, on simple moving averages. Whatever you want to call it. I called it a setup from support. So you can call it whatever you like, you know, whatever you want. So that is that. Now, it's not an isolated event. I don't know if you pay attention to other markets, stocks, indices, oil, Forex, whatever. But it was a bit of a crazy day yesterday, and nothing is completely unexpected. In fact, all of this is completely expected. It's exactly as expected, as they say, don't they? So, I mean, let's just go back in time just very briefly. Here we are, the S&P, the US 500 futures market. Bang, we had that big move down while I was on holiday. I said, look, hit the 200 exponential, very likely to receive a V-shaped recovery. Bang, 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 up to very close to the previous all-time high. Since we were messing around over here, I said, look, to be fair with you, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that we're going to come back down again. If we fail to make a new high, we're going to come back down again. And look, here we go. Look at this. Look at the state of this week. Bang, 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 bang. This is the S&P, basically, down a measly 5%, but it has huge repercussions on the rest of the market, and we're still probably got further to run. However, as we were doing the Patreon stream last night, I said, look, there is a good chance that this is the low for the moment. Now, we hit that 21 exponential on US 500. S&P hit the 20 moving average. The two are more or less the same, but they're kind of different as well. This one has shorter opening hours. This one's much longer. This is a pre-market as well. So look, we've hit a major support on the weekly here. That doesn't mean that this is where it's going to stop. I kind of expect it to break down, to be honest with you, over the next few weeks, but there's more to it than that. Again, without going into too much depth on this video, if you really want depth, then I suppose join the Patreon. We do these live streams twice a week, and there's reasons I believe that we will see a decent week coming on into this week, but that doesn't mean that the low on the S&P is finished at all. In fact, I think there's a lot of evidence to say that there's more downside to run, but next week I think is a good chance of moving up. And like I say, I don't want to bore everybody to death or devalue the people who tune into the Patreon Tuesdays and Fridays. But with that said, we move back over to Bitcoin and we recognize that, yeah, this was and is the place to try positions from. I took a few, as I said last night on the stream, I took a few, and we're going to see if that materializes into not just a nice bounce, maybe a move up to the top of the range, which would be unbelievable, and then maybe a breakout, which is still part of the overall plan. Remember this? I've been talking about this since forever. This is your S&P. This is the total 2, sorry. And this is your general fractal that I've had overlaid here from the previous bear market into the bull market, and then the completion of the bull market. And the fractal gives us a rough guide for time as to where we're looking to go over the next 12 months. And it is 12 months because I anticipate that we will peak around September 2025 or should have seen a peak or getting close to a peak, effectively should be limiting positions around this time next year. That means basically that we're still got all this to run. I'm not saying that we're going to hit $4 trillion market cap on the total too. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, look, the mapping of this fractal, it's not perfect, it's not identical, but it's very similar, and it's similar enough to give us a rough projection as to where we're going to end up in the next 12 months. Outside of the idea of obviously a massive black swan occurring, but I still like the way that this looks. So this was the main, and this is the main plan. People have been sort of watching my channel. I've been relatively bearish recently, for good reason, and now it's time to be optimistically bullish for the next week. And I think that this coming week is going to see a decent bounce that could fizzle out as soon as we hit maybe 57 to 58, could even fizzle out at 59 to 60, could fizzle out at the 200 simple moving average, 63 to 64, could fizzle out at the top of the range, $68,000. We don't know until I suppose the broader markets kick back in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with a CPI and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, that the setup from yesterday's video is now complete, and so the entry points from yesterday have now been entered, and now what we're looking to do is monitor the situation to see how much gains we can make from this bounce, which was so close to the bottom of the trend line, perfectly hit the bottom of the box, and should at least give us areas around $57,000. Anyway, that's just for Bitcoin. For whatever reason, the Bitcoin dominance chart decided it wanted to move down yesterday, even in the dump. Now, the thing about the dominance chart is that there's a 58.5% dominance zone over here where that is like a major resistance. Now, we haven't tagged it. Where did we hit? We hit 57.7, and that's 58.5% dominance. That is where the reversal should, a reversal or a rotation or basically rejection would likely take place. And if it continues through from there, it's around 62 really, 62 to 64. Have a golden cross here on the weekly, which I'd love to be retested. That's 52.2. And if we have a look at the old momentum, we have bearish divergence on the weekly. We also have a relatively hot money flow index read. Not that it counts for an enormous amount, but this is one of the highest it's been in a little while. And when you get high reads on anything on a weekly, it should provide a down move, a sustained downwards move, and for let's just say a week or two or three. So there is a good chance that altcoins rally at this point now. I'm not going to call it an alt season, an altcoin rally, because Bitcoin hit the major support. Bitcoin's reacting from the major support. Altcoins should react greater than Bitcoin just on this. And again, you want to call it whatever you want. Reversal, dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to name it anything. I'm just going to call it upside, at least for today. And certainly I think midweek next week when CPI comes through relatively low, and then the markets will also see some more alleviation from that. Anyway, kind of buzzing in a way because may have spotted the low. I'm not going to say that that's what's happened here, but we've managed to allow for patience to provide us a really nice entry point here. And none of it was a secret. I told you yesterday that this is the setup. The setup is now complete, and hopefully we can just ride this up, maybe to new all-time highs, maybe to $57,000. Either way, money's money, isn't it? Really, you get what the market gives you. There's a dodgy period in the market right now where everything wants to come down, and so if we do lose this trend line, this is where we talk about 40s, 30s. $1,000 areas. So that is true, but for the moment, still a very neat and tidy consolidation pattern. We've hit the bottom of it. If you're going to trade the pattern, then you should be looking to see a move up, possibly towards the top, back into the upper $60,000 zone. So well done for those of you who had the patience, who agreed with my analysis yesterday and basically executed those limit orders more or less exactly on point. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.